Hi, I'm Stephen Garvey, founder leader of National Citizens Alliance. I'm going to be answering 6 questions today for the schools across Canada. This is something all leaders of federal registered parties are asked to do, so I'm going to do that today. So let's get right into it. The first question: how are you going to make Canada a safer place? How are you going to make Canada a safer place? NCA will implement ideological screening at the borders to help keep out radical extremists. We will also deport all illegal migrants. Shut down sanctuary cities that harbor illegal migrants and criminals. End mass immigration into Canada by reducing total immigration into Canada, including migration, to 50,000 or less. We will apply the full extent of the law to extremists like KKK, Antifa, Black Lives Matter. And most importantly here, we will uphold freedom of speech, because we believe freedom of speech is one of the greatest safeguards against tyranny, radicals, extremists. The second question: many Canadian families are struggling financially. How do you propose to help them? The first thing NCA will do: end mass immigration into Canada. In 2019 alone, over 950,000 migrants are targeted by the federal government to enter Canada. This is crazy. Mass immigration is putting severe strain on the welfare system, social programs, healthcare, causing per capita incomes, wages to lower, displacing Canadian workers. Further, we will cut foreign aid by 75%, cut the federal bureaucracy by 50% over 4 years, and use all the savings to help Canadians in need. Major reform of CPP that will potentially result in 3 times increase in annual benefits. That's what we got to do. We got to cut all the nonsense, all the savings, go to Canadians in need. Third question: what are you going to do to build and maintain relationships with Indigenous peoples in Canada? Okay, the first thing we got to do at NCA and what we support is restructure the Aboriginal political structure from top down to bottom up inclusive. It's a corrupt system in place right now. And the best way we can help Aboriginal peoples is to restructure that corrupt system into something where all Aboriginal people have a say. Second, encourage greater Indigenous self-sufficiency through self-help projects rather than welfare hand-downs. Right now, the federal government, previous governments, they have a lot of talk, and then after the election, they just hand out welfare to the Indigenous people. This has to end. We will lower the Indigenous dependency on welfare to national norms. Finally, we will create federal ridings for Indigenous peoples so they have a direct voice in the House of Commons. We have to give them more say, give them a direct voice in the House of Commons. Fourth question: how do you plan to address climate change? Climate change is a real natural phenomena. However, at NCA, we believe climate change, UNIPCC, is a hoax. The federal government is pushing this hoax through the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change and the mainstream media. Recently, the BC Supreme Court ruled against Michael Mann's defamation suit against Dr. Tim Ball, who exposed the IPCC fraud. These are two images showing it. Michael Mann fabricated the existential threat. Tim Ball showed the truth. And in this graph, we can see the misinformation coming out of the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. Their models are completely out of touch with reality. You see that there. This is reality. They're way overestimating the rise in temperatures. NCA will immediately end the carbon tax and any other levy on carbon emissions. At the same time, NCA will create new effective regulations to hold polluters accountable. The next question. What is your party's policy on immigration? Canada is facing replacement migration, which is connected to the UN Population Fund. The federal government, mainstream media that has been lying to the Canadian people about the real migration numbers coming into Canada. In 2019, the federal government has targeted 950,000 migrants to enter Canada through all streams. Most economists are in agreement that immigration has an insignificant impact on the economy and an aging population. NCA believes that mass migration into Canada is harming the economy, environment, and society. NCA will implement a moratorium on immigration with no set end date, followed by 50,000 or less. Next question. If elected, what will be your first priority? The priority of the NCA upon forming government is immediately implementing a moratorium on migration into Canada with no set end date. The purpose of the moratorium is to deal with the growing immigration backlogs, screening issues, chain migration issues, and address the impact of migration on the economy, environment, and society. As mentioned, most economists agree that there is a minimal correlation between immigration and growth in the economy, increased individual per capita income, and immigration in dealing with an aging population. Through mass migration into Canada, Canada is being radically transformed into a UN-like globalist village. NCA will stop this agenda on day one of forming government. That is our absolute priority at NCA. A moratorium on day one of forming government. Thank you for joining me. Please share your comments on our responses to these questions.